I'd like to talk a little bit about George Soros. We all know about George Soros. We all know he's a Nazi collaborator, completely unrepentant and gleeful in the fact that he was able to help the Nazis round up his fellow Jews in Hungary. But this comes from the Tennessee Star, and it is the American Association of Evangelicals put out a video that is a warning about progressive wolves in Christians' clothing. So this is a 3-minute video about the rent and evangelical tactic used to confuse and divide the Christian vote for the pro-faith, pro-life Republican Party. So do we have that video, guys? All right, let's go to that now.
Recent leaked documents of hedge fund globalist George Soros and his Open Society foundations reveal that the atheist billionaire behind Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton is funding a massive network of organizations and even curious ministers who attack not only political opposition, but who advance Soros's radical and comprehensive social agenda for America. These leaks are confirmed by IRS and web documents of Open Society and related foundations. Like a bully on the playground, the Soros network has profited by funding the decline of cultures and economies.
I am particularly interested in changes in the rules of the game.
As Soros's global network weakens sovereign nations, it grows in wealth and power. Millions of people suffer the consequences. For several decades, their target has been America. Through his Open Society foundations, Soros postures himself as a philanthropist who has spent over $10 billion to fundamentally transform America.
But actually, he is the most dangerous man in the world.
What is this so-called progressive network doing to us and how? They advance educational content in our schools, the transgender movement, drug legalization, the sex worker industry, abortion, euthanasia, open borders, the flow of Islamic refugees, and voting schemes. Their formula seems to be billions of dollars to activists and organizers, and funding to the media, funding to rented ministers, and funding to judges and politicians,
Exactly.
which results in the fundamental transformation of America to make their street theater our national narratives, to give the impression of the moral high ground. The Soros network also funds what they call evangelical and Catholic mascots to serve as surprising validators for their anti-Christian projects and candidates. Imagine the evil of using a Christian front to de-Christianize the culture and nation. In this video clip from the New America Foundation, an executive admits their rent and evangelical model of social change.
Doing the sort of rent and evangelical, as we used to call it on the national security side, rent to general model.
The network funds religious groups including Jim Wallace's Sojourners, PICO, Faith in Public Life, Faithful America, Richard Cizik's New Evangelical Partnership, Telos, J Street, National Council of Churches, Evangelicals for Human Life, Catholics United, Catholics in Alliance for the Common Good.
Take a note of these. Take a note of these. Very important.
Catholics for Choice. And through the network's National Immigration Forum, they fund religious groups advancing open borders, amnesty, and voter registration for their new America. Rather than advancing the whole counsel of Scripture as the highest love for people and culture, these useful ministers assist non-Christian policies, projects, and politicians with faith words, optics, organizing, and media to confuse Christian and other value voters, to recruit the church into their radical political agenda. The formula works, and here's the key. The well-funded and organized minority, the Soros network, overwhelms the unorganized majority. This method of social change created tragic consequences throughout the 20th century and now advances a radical progressive political and social agenda that is regressive and openly hostile to the church and nation. dehumanizing and weakening the once strong America grows the unchecked power of a tiny global elite.
I had to experiment, and it was a learning process. The first part was this subversive activity, disrupting repressive regimes. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun, he says.
This is
What
now
an
our fight
evil
for
man.
the faith, for our nation, and for the human race against a godless, dehumanizing machine. It's time for the church and nation to stand up to these tactics of transformation,
God bless.
or what we might call killing America. It's time to speak truth to power, because the true America is more loving and life-giving than the new America of globalist social engineers. Our silence in the face of this onslaught
Globalist social engineering. Exactly. The Committee 300 had input in that.
is unchristian, un-American, and unloving. As Dietrich Bonhoeffer warned the church in the 1930s, silence in the face of evil is itself evil. What can faithful
Exactly, which is why I do what I do.
Americans do? 1. Share this video. 2. Vote. 3. Let's abide again in the roots of the American experiment. Let's regrow the branches of culture that the tree of culture could heal and again flourish. On the strong foundation of the Bible, our Declaration and Constitution, let's rebuild every pillar of our nation from the foundation up.
I gotta cut it off there because we're about to go to break. That is actually a boil down of a longer video, an excellent video that you can find in this article by the Tennessee Star titled
The Tennessee Star.
Christian Leaders Release Video on Soros's Rented Evangelicals. So that video that you just saw was a boil down of a longer 15-minute video that I highly recommend, that is excellent and gives you the total breakdown of George Soros's entire life and his strategy of undermining these countries. There's also, at the top of that article, you can miss it if you aren't careful, there's a link to a 3-minute video that explains exactly how he rents these evangelicals and uses the evangelical wolves and sheep clothing to undermine the church's stance on a lot of these issues. I also highly recommend you go to Infowars.com and see one of the latest videos. It's titled Breaking: Reuters Admits Soros Funding Migrant Caravan and Running Beto's Campaign. That is a video that Alex Jones did earlier today that I'd love to play here, but I don't quite have time. But I highly recommend you go and read it because it really breaks down how George Soros is unequivocally, did I get it that time? He's unquestionably, I should just stick to that, undoubtedly funding these migrant caravans in cooperation with MasterCard and all these other major globalist concerns. And did I mention that Beto O'Rourke gets almost half of his donations from Act Blue? That's right, it's a Soros-funded PAC, folks, and they get half of their money from that Soros-funded PAC. Stay with me on the other side.
Right. Catania Alvin, Project Truth Warrior, saying, cheerio, have a wonderful day. It's Sunday. And increase that redness over America. That's my wishes, because Trump is such a great help for the world. God bless you all.